insightful presentation today. Practice Pay Solutions is delighted to be providing a number of business services for rising professionals just like you, and we just want to ensure the growth of your business. First, you need to simplify your day-to-day processes, and you need to continue to develop and deliver education. So Practice Pay delivers personalized and convenient, affordable payment processing, as you are aware, and accepting credit cards for your products and services. They give seamless deposits to your merchant account, a lot of different payment processing services and shopping cart services. But you know, more than anything else, they are committed to the education and development of their members. And today is one of those sessions. We have the opportunity today to have an amazing webinar. Our guest today, I'm delighted to say, is a dear friend of mine. Liz Christopherson is the founder and CEO of Empower Consulting Group. She is a brilliant strategist and thought leader in her area, and her work has been gratefully accepted in a number of wonderful organizations around the world, including the Luxury Real Estate Foundation, lots of different large organizations internationally as well as in North America. And she is called upon for creative solutions and strategy work all over. And one of the things I have to say about Liz is that she brings this wonderful transformational aspect to all the work that she does. People development, strategy development, it all just works to have everybody in a better place by the time she has finished having a conversation with someone. I have been the recipient of a number of these wonderful conversations, and I have to say that we are very fortunate to have her with us today. Her presentation is going to touch you and inspire you, and I have to thank you, Liz, for being here with us and sharing your brilliance with us.
Well, thank you, Carol. That was a wonderful, wonderful introduction, and I certainly hope and want everyone to know that my intention is to deliver on that promise. So what we're going to be sharing with you today is a part of a program that we've developed called Biz CEO, and the pieces that we're going to share are from the Unplugged portion. There's a portion of this program where we talk about the power of being unplugged, because we are needing to understand and learn that we are in a very overly connected world. Information is coming at us bigger and faster than it ever has in the history of human communication. So when we unplug and we connect to what matters most, we tap into the core message, the core essence of who we are and what we do and how we add value in the world. And I apologize, Carol, but for some reason it's not advancing.
Let's just see what we can do about that. So you should have control over the screen.
I do not. It is not allowing me to advance the slide.
Okay. Liz, is there somewhere that you have them that I could access them?
Okay, I've just given it to you, so you should now be able to advance to the next slide.
Okay, I'm sorry, Liz. I actually don't have any control over the screen. Nothing that I'm clicking on is actually moving anything forward. I apologize for the technical challenges.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. So what we're going to cover today, there are 3 pieces that we'll share with you, which have to do with our Biz CEO program. And it's really about understanding the concept of spirit, the concept of strategy, and how the alignment of both generates phenomenal results. When we tap into the spirit or essence of who we are, it's one of the ways that we give our gifts to the world. when we have a very clear vision, picture, dream, and we understand that every one of us has a unique dream within us, we have the ability then to take that dream forth and bring it into the world. But part of what we have to do in the process is to make time to quiet the noise, to make time to discover the dream, and to allow it to fuel our journey in life. Because the truth is, you're being called to serve. It's just how and when you will answer the call. So before we get started, I want to share with you a modern fairy tale about work and play. And this will give you a little bit of insight into how I came to start my company and the lessons that I've learned along the way. Growing up as a young girl, I had big dreams. I was fortunate and blessed to live in a household of entrepreneurs. My parents were successful business owners. They had very little formal education, but they managed to create a very successful business. And I learned a lot of really interesting things from them throughout the course of my growing up. At an early age, I learned that they worked very, very hard, that they had a wealth of customers who absolutely loved the products and the services that they provided. And I also learned that it all started with this idea that they could create their own future. They could create a vision of having and running a successful business, owning a home, being able to provide for their family in a way that other members of their families had not been able to do. So as a young girl, I grew up with this idea that I could create my own future. But I also learned some things that weren't so wonderful. When I was a young child and I would talk about my dreams, sometimes there were elders who cautioned me not to be such a dreamer, to think with my feet on the ground, to really put some legs, if you will, into the things that I was thinking and dreaming about as far as a future goes. So at an early age, I learned that around some people, I needed to deny my true sense of self, to squelch that voice inside of me, the voice that says to you, you're a princess, you can dream big dreams, you're going to own the world someday, you are beautiful and deeply loved. In the hopes of fitting in and going unnoticed because of various circumstances around me, whether it was adults in my life or kids that I went to school with, or people who just didn't have or understand the power of dreaming and vision, sometimes just to get through the day, I squelched that voice inside. I squelched those dreams, and I allowed my passion to lie dormant, to lie deep within. But you see, I always had this dream that someday I was going to live a magical fairy tale life. I remember growing up and enjoying the world of Walt Disney. There were so many wonderful stories, and the heroines of his stories were always, you know, a rags to riches kind of a story. They were women who learned to listen to their own gifts and their own natural talents, and through bringing that out became these beautiful creatures that married the magic prince and lived in a beautiful fairy tale castle. Well, when I started my business, I had a dream for what I could achieve. And as most entrepreneurs do, I struggled. The beliefs that I grew up with as a child and the hard, challenging situations that I dealt with as an adult caused me at times to be overwhelmed. I really wanted and desperately sought leaders and wisdom and advice and insight into how to create the success that I saw other people able to create. But honestly, I struggled and struggled and struggled. I had a hard time clearly defining the work that we do. I had a very hard time trying to find the right clients, and I found myself in situations where I felt very much alone, overwhelmed, confused, afraid, unsure of who I really was, unsure of where my company was going, and really unclear about how we were going to get there. And sadly, at those moments in time, all of the overwhelm and the doubt and the fear caused me to be confused and to not have clarity and to make choices that took me away from what I thought was my true destiny. So I want to encourage you as we go through this program, if you have questions or comments, please type them into the chat box and we'll be happy to take them along the way. One of the first things that I learned through my journey was discovering the power of my own spirit, really beginning to understand who I am at the core, at the essence of my being, the natural gifts that I have been given to share with my teammates, my talent, my audience, the people that are around me. When you know what you're built to do, and when your being is aligned with those that you are destined to serve, it creates great, great success. But it all starts with changing the way that you see yourself, because the way that you see yourself determines the amount of attention and importance you place on your personal priorities. So what do I mean by that? Well, as entrepreneurs, we look at ourselves and we see a variety of people in front of us. I am a wife and I am a mother. I am an educator. I am a learner. I am a leader to the team that I work with and the clients in the community that I'm involved with. But at the core of all of those different variations of who I am a very spiritual being. I gain power and passion and energy from moving to that state where I am open to higher thinking and possibility. I'm also a very strategic person. That's very much a part of the makeup of who I am. I see how to solve problems differently than other people. It's taken me years to come to the understanding that if I combine the spiritual side of who I am and the strategic side of who I am and the work that I do for our clients, that everyone receives the highest and best version of who I am. And there are a number of ways that I've come to that understanding. We're going to talk about a few of those today. But the first lesson that I've learned, and it's a lesson that's really important for all of us at this moment in time, because you see, again, we're surrounded by so much information coming at us, so many thoughts and opinions and ideas and ways of operating in the world. As much as I love technology, I love that I can Skype my granddaughter who lives in the middle of the U.S. and I'm on the West Coast, I also recognize that all of that constant information interrupts my train of thought, interrupts my ability with staying connected to the core essence of who I am and delivering the highest and most authentic version of myself to my clients. So I learned in many different ways to unplug. And the first step in the unplug process is making time in your schedule to unplug. So when was the last time you took time for yourself? When was the last time you took time to meditate, to quiet the interruptions, to turn off all of the technology and the media that's around you, to tune out to that noise, to silence it, to quiet your mind and to listen to what's going on deep within you? So I encourage you right now to take a moment, quiet your mind, relax your body. Listen to the voice of your soul. What is it trying to tell you? What is the message that is resonating with you loud and clear? Because you see, when we go through life and we're helter-skelter busy and we're not listening, we're not tuned in, we start doing a lot of things and we get really, really busy. And sometimes those things that we're busy with are not the things that are going to serve us or serve our evolution or serve our clients in the highest and best way. So when we begin to unplug and we listen to that inner self, we can say no with grace and love. We can let go of those things and those people and those situations and that stuff that doesn't serve us anymore. We can open wide and make room for more, and we can experience the rhythm of nature. I bring the point of nature in particular because in our high technology world, scientists are discovering that the more connected we are through technology, the more we need time to connect and experience the natural rhythm of nature. At this time of year, the world around us is shifting from fall into winter, and things are happening. I live in a place that's surrounded by pine trees. It's absolutely beautiful. We call it God's country here. And one of the things that we're noticing, certain kinds of trees around us are shedding their leaves. They're getting ready for the snow coming and the very cold days, and they're preparing themselves in whatever way they need to go within and to be strong throughout the winter process. I also can see the raccoons and the chipmunks stockpiling acorns and pine cones and nuts and seeds in various places throughout the forest. And the pine trees themselves are losing their pine cones. This is something that occurs naturally in the natural order of things every year at this time. And for us, we have those same kinds of rhythms, those same kinds of things that take place if we only allow ourselves the time to unplug and go within and listen to that voice within us. The other thing that happens to us when we truly unplug is that it allows us to find the source of our inspiration. And that source of inspiration comes from asking ourselves the deep questions, the questions that sometimes we just brush along the surface, but they're the questions that give us the answers, that tell us if the work that we're doing, if the action that we're taking, if who we are being is what we're destined to be. So ask yourself, are you working with your people? These are the people who support you, who love you, who understand that the gifts that you give in the world are gifts that are unique to you. They're not people who are necessarily competing with you, but they're people that understand that their job is to support you and help you and guide you along the way, to help you get to that higher level of success. Ask yourself whether or not you're challenged, whether you're stretched, whether you're transforming and evolving in the roles that you play in the world. As a wife, as a mother, as an entrepreneur, what are the things that are challenging you, are stretching you, are transforming or evolving you, and how are they doing those things? The other thing that you want to ask yourself is, if you're not being challenged or stretched, transformed, or evolved, what do you need to do to make that happen? Because if you look at the natural order of things, transformation takes place each and every day, from season to season, and from one evolution of success to the next. If we look at the world, the way the world played out in early biblical times, fast forward through the Renaissance, through the Industrial Revolution, to the technology revolution, to today, we know that evolution is a natural part of progression. And so as humans, we need to be looking at how we can continue to evolve. The other thing that we need to be thinking about in relationship to the work that we're doing or how we're giving our gift to the world is whether or not it's opening doors for us. So when we think about how we're giving to other people, how we're showing up, how we're contributing to success for ourselves and the businesses that we work with in the community, we need to look at, are we gaining referrals? Are we being introduced to other opportunities? Are more things showing up? Or are we meeting with resistance somewhere along the way? It's important also to understand whether or not we've compromised that dream or that vision that we have for our life and our business. And the most important question that we can ask ourselves and answer for ourselves is whether or not what we're doing or what we're about to do will touch our own heart and feed our soul in meaningful ways. Because you see, it's really important that we shift from just being busy for the sake of being busy to doing the things that we are called to do, to be in service of that vision of success for ourselves and for our clients. And many of you on the call with us are coaches, are consultants, are trainers. It comes down to recognizing that your soul longs for a deep, clear silence. It longs for you to hear the message in your heart, and it longs to fly free and far with courage and with strength and with faith. And the way that you do that is by unplugging from all the things around you that detract from your ability to hear the message that your soul wants to deliver about who you are, about what you do, about how you add value and give and contribute into the world. So before we move on and talk a little bit about strategy, does anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask in relationship to what we've shared so far?
Just want to remind you that you can put your questions in the question box, and I will make sure that Liz gets them.
Great. Thank you, Carol. So part of what we explore in our Dream Biz CEO program is, as I said, the concept of spirit. There are specific exercises and field work that we take you through to help you get really clear about your unique purpose and your unique passion in the world. But it's more than just being able to create that dream. We know that creating the dream is only one part of the process. The next part of the process comes in developing the strategy or answering the call to action. Because you see, the entrepreneurs who are successful in the world today understand that their dream is really in service of a worthy cause. And it comes in all shapes and sizes. If we think about Mother Teresa, she had a very specific call to action. There was a cause that she believed in with unshakable belief, and that she continued to pursue and take action toward each and every day of her life. Conversely, we can look at someone like Steve Jobs and the dream of Apple and where they are in the world. Two totally different causes, but they both have passion and purpose and spirit and action toward creating success. So whatever your worthy cause is, it could be as a coach, working with new moms and helping them to understand the power of being a new mom and choosing to stay home. It could be working with people who are professionals and looking to get to that next level of success. It could be working with entrepreneurs or nonprofits. It could be guiding and coaching and speaking with or training teenagers. There are so many different ways to look at what your vision is for your business and how you can bring that call to action into life in the world and to be in service of whatever that worthy cause is. So part of the process that we take you through is to help you define it and then to be able to then deliver it. So delivering it is taking that action that propels you to open to higher thinking, to open to possibility, to defining and creating and delivering a better way. Because as I said, it's not just the vision and it's not just the strategy, it's taking that action that opens you up, that opens your clients up, and that gets each of you then to the next highest level of success. What's interesting, if you look at the two examples that I gave, Mother Teresa and Steve Jobs with Apple, what you come to understand as you begin to read their story and learn more about them is that while they had a bigger vision, they also created frameworks and they created a culture of innovation. They allowed the people that were around them to help them fulfill on whatever that dream is, whatever that being in service to a worthy cause meant for each and every one of them. And because they were able to not only create a strategy, but to take action toward it, they gave, right? They were in service, and it created tremendous meaning for their life. I want to share with you a simple story, and this is a true story about a very dear loved one. My husband was in law enforcement for many, many years, and he was very successful. This was truly his calling. If you ever have the opportunity to meet him, you will understand that he is a person of great depth and great patience and great love. And throughout the course of being in law enforcement, sadly, sometimes you see human nature at its worst. And there have been many occasions where he's had to lay down the letter of the law and put people in jail for a variety of reasons. Well, on one particular occasion, our family went to a lighthouse for a picnic. At the time, we lived in the San Francisco Bay Area, and this lighthouse was one of our favorite places to go for a picnic. There was a beautiful lawn, lots of picnic tables. You could, on a beautiful sunny day, climb the stairs of the lighthouse and then look out over the ocean and see to the ends of the horizon. It was just an amazing, beautiful place to share as a young family. And I'll never forget one day we had climbed all the way to the top of the lighthouse, and the sun was starting to set, and it was time for us to make our way down the stairs. And on the way up, he had been mentioning to me that there was someone else in the park that day that he felt for some reason he knew or he had an experience, and he wasn't really quite sure about this person. So as we're climbing down this long stairwell with our children, a very unhappy person showed up midway down the stairwell. And this was a very, very big guy. He was big, and he was burly, and he was unkempt, and not to pass judgment, but he had a lot of tattoos, and he was very disheveled. He looked as if he was someone that might have been sleeping on the streets. And I'll never forget, he charged right up to my husband, and he put his finger in the middle of my husband's chest, and he was pushing on my husband's chest, and he kept saying to him, "I know you, I know you, I know you." And, you know, my husband, being a law enforcement person, you know, the protective nature came in, and he sort of had his arms out so that my children and I would not pass, that we would not go beyond him. And at a moment in time when we were all very fearful about what the outcome of this interaction would be, my husband looked at this man and he said, "I remember you." And at that moment in time, the man fell to his knees, and he proceeded to tell us how incredibly grateful he was that my husband had arrested him, that he had lived a horrendous life and been a less than wonderful father and husband to his wife and his children, and that if it were not for my husband, he would never have gone through rehabilitation, and that his whole life changed because of that one experience. It was a moment in time that for us as a young family moved us greatly. You know, as I said, being in law enforcement and being married to someone in law enforcement isn't always easy. You often wonder, is my loved one going to come home today? Because who knows what he's going to experience out in the world. But that moment in time made us both recognize how really grateful we were for the work that he did and his ability to touch someone's lives and make a difference not only in this man's life, but in the life of his wife and his children. And so we need to recognize and understand that we all have unique gifts that we're destined to give in the world. For my husband, it was the work that he did in law enforcement. For Mother Teresa, it was seeing how she could touch the people in poverty. For Steve Jobs, he wanted to be able to leverage technology and create a different kind of experience and give people the opportunity to connect in different ways. So be thinking about the work that you do and the greatness that you're called to serve. We also teach as part of the process is that when you put yourself in the driver's seat, it doesn't mean that you're going to travel alone. So you need to think about, from an internal perspective, what you're putting in your mind, your body, and your spirit. Who are you inviting? How are you taking care of those aspects of yourself? The work that you do calls you to be your highest and best self. So are you exercising well? Are you eating right? Are you filling your mind with good, healthy things in the same way that you would fill your body with good, healthy food? And how are you nourishing your spirit and your soul? How are you taking care of yourself so that when you show up and you do the work that you're called to do, that you are bringing your highest and best self? The other thing that's really important is for you to understand that you're never going to travel this journey alone. There are going to be people that you're going to work with, and you need to choose wisely, whether it's a team member or a client or a product or a service that you bring to the process. You want to make sure that it's always the highest and it's always the best, and that you're always looking for ways to serve, right, to move from that doing into a state of being. That you're always looking to stop settling, to create boundaries, to becoming and to evolving the highest and best version of yourself and your teammates and your products and your services. Because you see, when you can hold a greater sense of possibility for the lives of the people that are around you, whether they're your family or your clients or your teammates, then your work becomes truly significant and meaningful. You're destined to make a big difference in the lives of those around you. And sometimes we take for granted and we forget that we're here to give a really remarkable gift. So I want to shift gears and talk quickly about this concept of results, because results come from focus. And so many entrepreneurs that we work with have difficulties determining whether or not they're creating the right results. And it's really simple, right? It's really simple to understand that when we focus our intention and our action, there's no confusion. We're really clear about what we need to do. We make wise decisions because our head and our heart are aligned. So if we look at this concept of what our business vision is, and we understand the essence of who we are and how delivering on this business vision gives us the ability to give our gift in the world, there's no confusion. We're really clear about the choices that we need to make, about the clients that we need to serve, about the team members that we need to have a part of bringing that vision to life. We're very passionate and purposeful because our head, the logical side of who we are, and our heart, the emotional side of who we are, is expressed fully in the work that we do and the results that we receive from creating that clarity and that focus. So the way that it looks for a Dream Biz CEO is that we're in flow with abundance, meaning that we receive an abundance of tangible financial results. We received an abundance of perfect paying clients, contracts, checks, and opportunities. We receive an abundance of the right people who want to be a part of what we're creating. When we're confused about where we're headed or what we're doing or even who we are, We say one thing, we think something else, and then we do something completely different. It's when we get to that moment of clarity that we can increase and open to the flow of abundance and opportunity that's around us. And the truth is, everyone needs what you have to offer. It's in your ability to be really clear about what that is and how it helps the people around you that creates that magnetic attraction for more. The other thing that's really wonderful is that when you know where you're going, other people with similar visions are going to want to join you. There will be people who will be riding in the front seat, people who will be in the back seat. There will be people that you've known for a long time. There will be people that are just learning about you. Your job is going to be really important in understanding who needs to be a part of the process and the journey with you. It's about being in right relationship with those people, speaking your truth authentically and often, and assisting and supporting and guiding each other along the way. It's understanding what their dream is all about. It's understanding what their desire is all about, what they can bring to the adventure, and what success looks like for them. It's also knowing very clearly when it's time for you to allow someone else to drive for a while. If you were to take a trip across country, you would want to take breaks from time to time. Where are you going to stop along the way? When do you have to put gas in the car or maybe change the flat? And who's going to do that? So being in right relationship is having clarity around all of those things so that each one of you, as you're building this amazing dream and bringing it to life, are contributing your highest and best self in the ways that you're destined to do. So as you're going through your process, be thinking about who you're going to invite on the journey. And when you invite others to be a part of it, the journey becomes more exciting. It becomes more motivating. It becomes more energizing for all of you. And you experience the power of giving as well as receiving. Because when we give our gifts, it allows us to receive the benefit of thanks and gratitude and appreciation from the people around us. And that receiving part doesn't always mean financial receipts. Sometimes it's a smile. Sometimes it's a post on our Facebook side. Sometimes it's a handwritten card or a special gift that we receive from those around us. So our question to you is, what is your gift, and to whom will you give it? We need to remember and recall that our impact comes to life at the intersection of our present actions and the future that we want to create. So how much impact are you having in your own life and the lives of those around you right now, today? What are your actions, and how are they creating the future that you've dreamed about? I'd like to ask you to take a minute and to think about a time when you've been very confident and very competent. I want you to think about the details of the moment. Were you receiving an award? Were you having a great conversation with your teenager or a coworker? What were the colors that were around you? What did the surroundings feel like and look like and smell like and be like? Who was with you in that moment? What were the important parts of the conversation? How were you feeling? What were you thinking? What did you say, and in what manner did you say it? Think about it as a movie in slow motion. Let that experience really sink in and speak to you. Make it as vivid as if it were happening right now at this moment in time. When you can relive those experiences as if you were fully present right now, you become vital and you become on purpose. When we're fully present, when we're fully given, when we're fully open, that's where our true power comes from. When we show up as the truest version of ourselves, our all-out, unvarnished, no kidding presence, we give in ways that other people resonate and connect with, and we become incredibly attractive. So I want to ask you, I'm going to share with you very quickly a little exercise that we do, and I'd like to ask a few of you to share with us your experience. So how did you show up today? And I'm going to give you a very personal example. I showed up on this presentation. I woke up this morning, I had done all this work on it, and I was really clear about, or I thought I was really clear about what I wanted to communicate and what I wanted to share. And this morning I woke up thinking that there were some additional pieces that I wanted to offer as part of this conversation, this presentation that we're having today. So when I actually had to dial in and get on to the webinar system, honestly, I was a little nervous. I was a little worried. I was a little concerned, and I had a few technical difficulties. And I know you noticed that at the very beginning of the presentation. So how did I go from that to this moment in time? Well, I tuned in a little bit. I took a deep breath, and I said to myself, regardless of who shows up, there's an important message that we need to give to the people who will participate in this journey with us today and to those who will listen to it later. So I need to relax. I need to slow my breathing down, and I need to have a really clear picture of giving that gift and the people in the audience being open to receive it. So now I'd like to ask those of you who would like to share, how did you show up today? Carol, would you like to go first?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty, for being so real with us, Liz. You know, today for me, my day began very early, and I get up early enough to just get myself settled a little bit. But I noticed that I took some time just before I had my first call this morning just to get myself centered as well, and to be very available for the people on the call that I was there with. And just, they're on the other side of the world. So reaching out to them, listening very carefully to what's going on for them was important for me. So showing up as someone who was available was really critical to start my day.
Thanks, Carol. So is there anyone else who would like to share with us how they showed up today?
Just raise your hand or put a question in the question box, and we'd be happy to put you on the line.
So I want to encourage you, while we're waiting to see who else decides to participate this afternoon, or this, I guess it is this afternoon, I'd like to encourage you. There is a wonderful book called Lean In, and it's by Sheryl Sandberg. She is the CEO of Facebook. And I want to just encourage you that there is this concept of leaning in and leaning back. Leaning back is when we take our foot off the gas pedal because we're a little nervous, a little worried, a little concerned that we might be going too fast. And leaning in is when we say to ourselves, I need to accelerate who I am, what I'm doing, and how I'm going to give my gift to the world. So I want to share with you just quickly about our Dream Biz CEO program. It's a 12-month small group program. There is a monthly learning session, and the intention of the program is to spend 12 months with a small group of entrepreneurs who want to get to the next level of success. Each month we're going to cover different pieces of what it means to create success in your business. We'll be sharing best practices and key learnings as well as field work in relationship to strategy, branding, marketing, social media, how to develop content and programs, converting content or contacts and conversations into sales, as well as how to improve performance and productivity. So in addition to that, 1-hour monthly learning session, which you will have access to a recording or a presentation after the fact. You also are provided 2 45 to 60-minute one-on-one strategy conversations with our Dream Biz CEO team members. So if you're interested in learning more about the program, we encourage you to schedule a complimentary discovery session or to sign up for the January 2014 program launch to contact Carol at go2ecg.com. So those of you that are on the call with us today, you'll be getting more information via email. And those of you who are listening after the fact, watch for the email about receiving your complimentary discovery session. I'd like to encourage you, if nothing else, take advantage of the complimentary discovery session. It'll be a great 45 to 60-minute conversation where you'll gain a little bit more insight about how this program will work well for you. And I want to just reinforce that it's not a sales pitch conversation. Our intent with that is for you to have a meaningful coaching or strategy conversation with one of our experts so that you can determine for yourself whether or not this is the next step in your journey. One of the things that we didn't talk about is this concept of work is play. At Empower Consulting Group, it's one of the guiding principles that we operate. As a young child, I shared with you bits and pieces of my story, and one of the things that I remember about my parents and their success as entrepreneurs is that it felt like they were workaholics. They worked 24/7, 365, and God bless them. They're watching from up above, but I remember them just always being very focused on what they needed to do to create success with their business and providing for myself and my sister. And I remember them just working themselves literally to death. And when the end of their life came, and I had the opportunity to reflect and think about all of the wonderful lessons that I learned from them, one of the things that I was determined to understand is, why did work have to be so difficult? Why did it have to be work? As I started to do self-exploration and I started to read and learn and to become more educated, I realized that when we're children, our work is our play. We have friends that we go to the playground with, and we play games. We play jacks or jump rope or hopscotch. We read books, and we get into that whole world of imagination and discovery. We learn about science and math, and we play and we read and we have fun. We get so busy with play sometimes, and we're in such a state of joy and exploration and discovery and learning, and that truthfully we are open to possibility. And as we are called to do the work that we do in the world, we make it a point to share this concept of work is play. We want every one of the clients that we work with to understand that their work is really supposed to be an expression of their joy and love and their greatest gift that they can give in the world. Because, see, like little children who are always at play, as adults, when we're doing the work that we're called to do in the world, when we're fulfilling our destiny, then our work does become our play. It feels joyful. It feels full. It challenges us to grow and to learn and explore and to be our highest and best self. So we encourage you, what are you waiting for? Join us and turn work into play every single day. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us on this call. I think we have a few moments left for questions or comments, and I would encourage you to take advantage of that opportunity now.
Thank you, Liz. And I'll just open it up for a conversation, and if there's anything, just please raise raise your hand or just type in something in the question box, and we'd be delighted to answer your questions. Liz, I'm reminded when you shared that about being in the playground of the time spent with my grandson. It's very much like that. We just focus on totally being in the moment and playing full out.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful? I think that's great.
It really is. When there's times during my day that it's like that as well when I'm working. Doesn't look like there's any questions, Liz. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
No, the only thing I'd like to share with you is just in wrapping up, I encourage you to be the gift that you are here to be, to come to an understanding of the work or the play that you're called to give in the world, to work with the people that you love, in places that you love, from the space of love. When you learn to unite the inner and outer facets of your life, when you learn to facilitate positive transformation in an integrated way, you experience miracles and abundance. You feel much more in touch with who you are and the world around you. Your life becomes harmonious and your dreams are realized to their fullest. It becomes very easy to minimize the chaos of the outside world. I am incredibly grateful for the gifts and the guidance that have been provided to me. My world has changed dramatically, and I look forward to the opportunity to share my experiences, to work with people who want to get to that next level of success. Because my intention and my passion is to help people find their way, and once they've found theirs, to inspire and motivate them to help others find theirs. So thank you for the opportunity to be of service today, for allowing me to give you a little glimpse into my world and to share my gifts. May you all go out and have a wonderful, wonderful vision and dream for your life. May you always take action that leads you to greater success, that opens you up to higher possibility, to greater thinking, and to a better way. Be blessed.
Thank you so much, Liz. Such great information for us to be contemplating and considering today. And I just want to remind the members of our audience as well about the opportunities that Practice Pay Solutions provides and services for entrepreneurs. And you can get in touch with those folks at practicepaysolutions.com. And they also provide these wonderful learning opportunities. And the next in the Business Mastery series of webinars is next week on November 19th. It's Natasha Ulrich. She's providing us with information on entrepreneur anxiety, how to feel good selling without sacrificing your soul. We are so lucky to have these wonderful and talented presenters for us. And thank you so much again, Liz, for your contribution. And I hope everyone does just make it a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much.